Thanks for coming, matron. I know you're really busy. Would you like a coffee or anything? No? Okay. Must feel really strange to you having a meeting outside the hospital, but you know, I just can't go back there, you know? Can't seem to step over the threshold. It's taken me all my time just to walk in here. Become such a wimp. Yeah, probably not the same person you knew. Certainly not the same person I did. Right. Deep breaths. Here we go. Okay. Oh, just one word of warning. I might cry. Not great big blubbering. God knows, I've done enough of that over the last 3 months. It's just that every now and then I get this kind of a trigger in my memory, and off I go like Pavlov's dog. Well, not salivating, obviously. That would be unpleasant. But something hits me, and suddenly my throat begins to close and I can't swallow, and my heart sinks, and this wave of emptiness hits me so hard, and the tears just, no, uncontrollably. So, but don't be embarrassed, and don't try and console me. That just makes me worse. I will get through my story. I apologise in advance. Okay. Right. Where to start? I was 30 weeks into my pregnancy. The baby was small, but then so am I, so nobody was particularly worried. And then it was Thursday, May the 12th. And I woke at 8 a.m. and instantly knew that I was no longer pregnant. Can't explain it. I have tried over and over, but I just knew that our baby had died. I woke my husband. I said, we have to go to the hospital now, the baby's died, in a voice so matter of fact that he understandably thought I was off my head. Perhaps I was, but I knew. And we drove to the hospital in silence. I just felt numb, really. I couldn't think of a single thing to say. And we were met at the door by matron, by sister, who was very, very kind and professional, as always, but she couldn't find a heartbeat. After several attempts by a variety of doctors, she came to break the inevitable bad news, and her usual stiff upper lip began to tremble. Oh, I felt sorry for her. Things were a bit blurry after that. I remember I could hear this awful howling noise. And I thought it was coming from the next room. But apparently, it was me. Now, I need to tell you, this is where you come in. This is what happened next. I was a Catholic. And so I asked to see the priest. And the staff called him, but he refused to come in to visit me. Apparently, my baby wasn't recognised by the Catholic Church because she'd died in utero. I never knew that. Convent school and everything, all these years, I never knew that. When Ward's sister came in to tell me, I said, but how can I name my baby then? And she looked at me horrified, and said, you can't give the baby a name. It's dead. But then a vicar came. My friend Jill had called him. He was so kind. He'd lost a child as well, so he understood. And he said that he would, when the baby was born, he would come in and bless her. And that was so extraordinarily comforting. Obviously, I had to have a normal delivery. I'd had so much pethidine, I barely knew where I was, let alone what was happening. I could hear a game show in the labour ward, and I thought I was one of the contestants. The midwives promised that they would make sure that I was awake at the birth. And I gave them the number for the vicar, and they said they would call him to come in and do a little blessing ceremony. They did neither. I slept through my tiny daughter's birth, and they just took her away like she didn't belong to anyone. I finally woke in the early hours of the following morning, not knowing that I'd had a baby and that she was gone. I'd never even met her, much less said goodbye. I mean, how can they do that to someone? What in God's name were they thinking? I'm all right. I'm okay, really. I need to finish this. Sorry. By the Sunday, I was bereft. I couldn't eat, I couldn't think. All I wanted to do was to hold my baby, and I knew that she was due a post-mortem on the Monday morning, and it was inhumane. And then a midwife that I trained with came into my room, and she said that she couldn't bear to hear me crying anymore, and that she would take me to see my baby. And we walked to the mortuary together, and it was against the rules, and we both knew that, and she was terrified, bless her, but I was, euphoric. The mortician took my baby out of a fridge drawer, handed her to me, and then kindly went out for a coffee. I stood holding my tiny daughter in a zipped plastic bag, and I wasn't even allowed to take her out. I pressed against the opaque bag, and I could see her tiny little face, and I marveled at her tiny fingers and toes. I pressed her icy cheek against mine, and then through the plastic, I kissed her baby lips. I told her who I was, and I was sorry I'd let her down. I told her that I loved her. And then, finally, reluctantly, I said goodbye. I never saw her again. You are the head of the unit, matron. Only you have the power to change things, make new policies, train the midwives. Please don't let this happen to anyone else. Parents need to grieve for their babies, or else how can they come to terms with the loss? If you could do this for others, then I would think that something good could come out of something so bad. Will you think about it, please? Thank you for coming to see me. It was good to see you.